Mommies Mo Problems, your podcast destination for all things mommy. I am your host, Kaylia Flowers, and today we are doing a very special episode of Mo Mommies Mo Problems. We are doing Mo Poppas Mo Problems. We have dads here with us today. I have my wonderful husband, Darian, and Ashley and David here with us, and we're just going to talk about some dad things. So, welcome, you guys.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
We are well.
I know we took a second to talk before we got into it, but I'm going to ask again, what's a nugget of joy from your life right now?
Currently, I'd say probably getting in the swing of having a new baby.
Mm-hmm.
I think right now she's just like our little ray of sunshine. So for me, that's part of it,
Yeah.
Alright, besides biking, I am on the video game. Like, kids go to bed, wife goes to bed. I'm in it.
What video games are you into?
NBA 2K and Call of Duty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We got some gaming on this end too.
When I can.
When you can.
Yeah.
Not as much, huh? Because, I don't know, you've been into the skating thing.
It took a drop off a little bit, but yeah, when I can, I get in there.
You get in there.
It's a love-hate relationship because it's like, I know I need to go to bed and I'll be tired in the morning. But as soon as like it hits that time of the hour, it's like,
Is it worth it?
I could get in.
Do I get sleep or do I prioritize me time?
Because you need that.
I can power
those
through
dopamine rushes, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
But
you're
then
on
also,
board.
like, I mean, you've gone on thinking you're only gonna be on for like, okay, I'll just do like 30 minutes.
Oh yeah.
And then it's like, I'm like, okay, dude.
What do you mean it's 3 o'clock?
The middle of the
Yeah.
morning. I have to get up in a couple hours. So you guys both work remote. Tell me a little bit about what that looks like for you in the mornings.
I'm the first one up. I go, wake our oldest up, our soon to be 12-year-olds. From there, I usually go back and lay down. I'm not gonna lie. I lay down. I don't go back to sleep, but I do lay. I lay with the baby now that she's here. Trying to get her into the routine. And he's usually still asleep for a little bit, and then I start waking him up, and then our son comes in the room, asking for breakfast and something to drink, and then from there, I just lay down until he gets up because he takes our daughter to school. So, kind of like take turns doing things. And sometimes I'll get breakfast going, sometimes he'll get breakfast. It just depends on like how our morning routine kind of goes.
Yeah. So you guys share the duties. It's not like one person's like, you on morning shift, I'm going to sleep.
Yeah. That's kind of how we are.
We have shifts.
Different shifts.
I'm the PM shift. He's the AM shift. I wake the boy up, the big boy. He'll like get ready for school and we'll do that. And sometimes I like make him
After
breakfast.
moaning for like 10 minutes.
But yeah, he's just and then he tries to like cry. He cries. I'm like, why do you cry? You do this every day. Like, why are we crying?
It's literally the opposite of our son. You wake him up, he's like, all right, let's play.
Oh, like he's ready? He just gets up. How cute.
He does the crying when he's going to bed.
Oh, okay.
Every night.
Tyus just cries all the
Yeah.
time. I go to work. I leave around like 6:45, and I don't get home until like 4:30 lately, and then that's when he's about to leave for work.
Yeah.
Except for a day when he has those days off, it's really nice because then I can come home and we can like hang out.
Yeah.
But it's also usually like, well, we're together, so let's talk about like grocery shopping, and we gotta sweep and clean things, and so it really doesn't always feel like we get
Relaxing time together.
Yeah.
It's more so like, all right, we haven't seen each other. Like let's figure
talk
out,
about next week. What's the schedule? Whose shift is what? He takes the Tyus to school, picks him up from school. He hangs out with the baby, and he'll go and like grocery shop and like some of those things that need to get done. So, and then sometimes he's like, nah, he'll go to sleep when the baby's asleep, and then other times he tries to use the time to like.
Because I don't get up until like midnight usually or later.
So it's real rough, yeah.
Yeah. And she wakes up at 5.
No,
so
I
wake
guess.
up
So
at
then he
5.
wakes up at 5, and it was worse when the baby was not sleeping through the night. It was real
really
crazy
bad,
in this house. What's a daddy win and a daddy fail you've experienced lately?
Daddy win for me is our son. He's learning how to read, and then one day he just walks up to me. He's showing me like his reading on his tablet, and he's pointing out the words and he's saying, "Oh, this is it, this is it," and it's like, I take a lot of pride in getting excited. Like,
You're like,
wow! So, I got him. Like, I ran. She was in the bathroom. I ran. I was like, let's go show mom. Because I feel like a child needs that. anytime our daughter has anything exciting she wants to show us, it's, oh yes, this is awesome. Like she was playing baseball, and it's like you want to get excited, you want to be part of that.
Yeah.
And I think it's hard to do. Because he'll show me like, oh, look at this car,
and you're like,
you have to get excited.
It's
like,
really, it's a cool car, dude. It's cool.
you just showed me this car twice. But it's like you have to be like, oh, that's a cool car. And then failure, even this morning too. It's my patience. That's something that I'm still I still struggle with from time to time, and she has to reel me in because it's like I'm just naturally not a patient person. Like, it's like work. It's like, okay, let's do this. Anytime there's something to be done, it has to get done now.
Yeah.
And I kind of treat everything like that, and it's like it's something that I'm still working on.
Yeah. What about you, baby? What's a daddy win, daddy fail?
I think the win would probably have to be, honestly, anytime Tyus is like, I love you, Dad, or like because like he doesn't always, a lot of times he's like, Darian, Darian, but when he busts out that dad every now and then, like that feels like a win for me. I don't know. As far as failures go, I don't know, there's that one day I fell asleep or something, and then Jabari had that like giant blowout. Shit everywhere.
he called me, he was like, baby, oh my god,
It's everywhere.
Shit everywhere.
I'm like, what? Oh no.
Mm-hmm. I was tired, and then like I think we ate breakfast. Like he was up real early. We kind of changed the routine up a little bit, so we made breakfast for him, and then he fell asleep in the car when I took a Tyus. Come back home, I'm like, cool, you're chilling, boom. But he had eaten already, so it changes his movements. So I'm like, cool, I'm gonna nap, you're napping, let's go. Go to sleep, and then I get up, I'm like, I'm gonna go check on the baby, go in there. It's like,
Looks like a crime scene. You recently were talking about how you just kind of went back to work recently. What was that process like, going back to work for you guys?
For me, it was just like a shock because I work in a pretty stressful environment.
Mm-hmm.
So I do insurance, and I do typically like all the back end stuff, stuff that we don't necessarily need to call the customer about.
Mm-hmm.
But like a lot of people don't know, insurance will find any reason to cancel you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I'm doing a lot of repair. I don't have to call the customer, but I have to do stuff on their account.
Oh yeah.
So with me being gone, it seems like nobody else is doing it. So as soon as I got out, I was like,
just like a whole thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to be here. So I honestly, I've been back a week, and I'm still just getting acclimated. I'm like, oh man, this is an adjustment. I was just living my best life when I was gone, and I was like, I'm exhausted.
Right. The emotional part, though, of going back to work, was that hard? How long was your paternity leave? Did you stay for just like a couple weeks at home? Or?
I was off for like a month.
Okay.
A month and a week, something like that. And it was like amazing being off.
Well, and then you work remote, so going back to work wasn't like you're not seeing your baby.
Sure.
Yeah, well, I'm still seeing her every day. It's just like I don't know, the adjustment of like knowing she still has to do her duties, but she doesn't have me to help. It's kind of like, oh dang, you're on your own. I'm so sorry.
You feel guilty, yeah.
Because Asher's still at home right now until this fall, so that's another thing. Like trying to make sure they're quiet at the same time. Because, getting calls and taking care of clients.
He's having to be, and
then I'll be going too. So it's like, oh my gosh,
it's gonna get real.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be an adjustment for sure.
So what about you, baby?
Going back, the whole paternity, what I do?
Yeah.
I think I did 2 weeks.
You think it was 3 weeks. You took an extra week because of the C-section.
It was going to be 2 weeks, and I just took 3. Work in a kitchen, so it's there's a whole thing too. I don't know if you've ever seen that show, The Bear, on Hulu, but you kind of get that vibe. Like we're weird. We're weird people. We have a weird
You're
thing
okay.
with like love-hate relationship with our own work and job and everything. Oh, hello.
Can I run a round?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Not too far though. Not in the street.
Okay.
Okay. I love you.
Love you,
Be
baby.
safe. What was I saying?
You were saying it's a love-hate relationship with work, and you were relating that to paternity leave and like
That's right. Yeah.
going back to work.
Yeah. So like, I mean, I wanted to be home. I wanted to be around the baby, but then I felt this pull, like, oh, I need to be at work. Like,
And you kind of wanted.
It wasn't even like for money or anything. It's just because I feel the need to make sure everything's right.
Yeah.
You know.
Mhm.
That
Just
you
be
keep
there.
that structure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also think you have an internal pressure system on yourself with like, so you're pressure cooking all the like expectations of yourself a lot. So it's like, oh, I gotta get back to work because they need me at work, but I gotta be home because my wife needs me at home, and
There's enough.
it's like.
I got enough water in there.
So what was that like emotionally for you going back to work, baby? And just like I remember it being kind of hard, and you were kind of talking to your
I
coworkers.
don't know. I probably just like pushed it out, but I was a little
Yeah.
exhausted and like
Oh gosh, it was so hard.
just trying to figure everything out. You know, there was a lot of, because being my first kid too, like just freaking out, be like, "Are you okay? Like you still breathing? Like you still everything? Like
Still do that.
yeah, yeah."
Where it's like they're just laying there, I'll just go, I'll just touch your stomach. Walking
Oh, just checking.
down. Just want to make
Love
sure
you.
you're alive.
Especially him now, because he'll be out all like. This. Oh, do you
His
remember
face was
that?
in a pillow. You're like,
Do you remember that
Oh my
day?
God.
I like scared the shit out of him because I saw him. A little tangent. I'm sorry.
the great,
but-
yeah.
He was asleep in his little crib thing. He just looked all crazy in it, and I don't remember. He was like already wasn't feeling well that morning or
Yeah.
something like that. So I just saw
He
it,
was
and I
breathing
just
real
like
slow, and so it was like
I freaked out, and I just like
Total
snatched him up
anxiety,
out of
like-
the thing, and like was just full of anxiety. And I think he was like,
Oh,
"Oh
God,
shit, I'm
got
awake."
so mad.
Saw that and just screamed for the next like
He would not stop
hour
screaming.
or so,
though.
and
He-
I was like
he
freaking
called
out. I
me,
thought
he's
something
like,
was
"You
wrong.
won't stop screaming."
I was like, I don't know.
I don't know what's happening.
I didn't know if he like grabbed something and choked on it or something. I
He's
just
like,
went
why
to
is
the
he
worst
crying
possible
so
places,
much?
you know?
Yeah. Oh gosh, it was really.
Mhm.
You guys, he's got pipes. Like he's gonna be a belter.
That's fair.
He's gonna be on the stage somewhere. 'Cause,
But yeah, stuff like that, you know, just casually freaking out
Yeah.
over little things.
so being at work, and then like if I'm calling him because I'm like, you know, I'm still on maternity leave, and I'm like, babe, where'd you put the remote? But I'm calling over and over, and he's answering like, what? Because he's thinking there's an emergency,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I just was looking for the remote. I just needed the remote. Like, don't call me for stupid reasons. Like, call me, you know. All of that is just got
And-
kind of tough, huh?
Like being in the kitchen too, like I'm the one who's usually making sure all the food's going out and everything like that. So I'm like sitting here just looking at all my ticket. I'm like everything's like, oh, it's a problem. I gotta solve problem. You know, going through, and then it's like, oh shit, my phone's ringing. Another one.
Hey, man! Where'd you put that?
What do you want? Problem
I got
number
it.
5?
But yeah, so it was rickety rough. It was real rough in the household, you know.
Yeah.
But we made it through, and definitely once the baby started like sleeping through the night, things got a lot more,
Started flowing.
just a little bit. It's still hard, like all the time.
He still stays
being a
up.
parent.
Stays up, slaps the walls.
He's just
You guys up?
He's such a funny kid, dude. It's so weird. We are both couples that are blended families, as in, you know, having children from previous relationships and then coming together and having your own children and getting married after that. Did you ever see yourself falling in love with a single mom? Did you have any opinions about that prior to meeting your really cool, awesome, beautiful wives?
I would say for us, it's a bit different because we dated in high school. We were both 15 at the time, sophomore year, and then we had broken up, typical high school breakup.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were together
We're
for
He
over.
hated me. He hated
3-4 months, and
me.
then you know,
Did you
departed.
jump him?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she done me.
I was young. Like he was my first
Hold on,
relationship.
she didn't tell me why either. You know,
I just
I
don't
just
know.
never give him a reason. She just
Oh.
really broke
I
up
was
with me.
scared.
She just stopped talking to me like, oh, I have to go.
Oh my god, you
go.
ghosted him?
She
Yeah.
straight ghosted me.
I stopped answering his
Oh
calls.
no.
Just stopped altogether.
because
So you were rightfully salty about that for a while.
I was young. I had never had a real boyfriend. You know, my parents liked him, and that was new for me. My parents met him and everything.
And they were like approving.
They were strict,
Yeah.
so it's like, oh, like you're letting me date? Like this is love? No.
Getting dirty.
So then when you came back, like you said, how like 10 years later?
Almost just
Man.
Oh, so she just randomly wrote me on Facebook.
No, I requested him on Facebook.
She requested me, yes, and
And he
I
messaged
said,
me.
He said,
He
"Oh
don't
shit."
hate me.
It's like, oh snap!
He don't hate me no more.
And we just kind of chopped it up over the next 2 months. No, I thought
It was a
longer than
month.
that.
It was a month, and then he came out. to
And
see
then I
me.
came out. Oh, when I came out, it was the best. So, our first meetup, after,
Mind
10
you, I had
years.
just got out of a relationship too, so
Okay.
it's like I had
So-
trust issues.
So, I'm living up in Sacramento at the time. She's here in Fresno. That day, my phone breaks. Or for some reason, I had to get another phone. And when I got the phone,
You were
it
scheduled
wasn't
to meet.
charged. We were scheduled to meet. So I'm like,
Oh,
I'm
I'm
going to
gonna
go
get a
down
hold
there.
of him.
Not a big deal.
And you have trust issues. Oh my god, I'm adding the pieces together.
I didn't have my car charger at this point. I think it broke or something like the week before. So I was just driving there with a dead phone. Like, you couldn't call me.
Yeah.
I'm just driving.
Yeah, it's
And
coming
I
hours.
got there
I was like, nope, he ain't
7,
coming.
8 o'clock at night.
Oh
And-
no.
I finally turn on the phone. All these text messages come in. The voice.
Oh, no.
If you didn't want to meet up, you could have just told me. Don't even bother calling me no more. I don't want to talk to you. Yada yada yada. I was like,
Rightfully so,
wow.
based on the information she had available at the time, man.
So she was pretty upset about that, but we did end up meeting that night. And,
Oh, you got to make it better.
Yeah.
And the rest is history,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
So when she was like, okay, I have a, because you said your daughter, right?
Yes.
You had your daughter first.
Yes.
So when you had when you guys started dating again, how old was she?
She was 4.
Okay, so she was teeny.
She was little.
So what was that like when you first started dating? Like, were you like, oh, you have a baby now? Oh, snap. Did it not faze you at all?
I took it very serious because
Because it is, yeah, it's different.
like I understood that they were like a package deal.
Okay, that's good.
A lot of people don't look at it though. It's like, oh, it's your kid. Like, no, if we're gonna do this, then this is gonna be my kid as well. So I had to.
And you guys had the intention of dating seriously when you first started dating. It wasn't like,
Yeah.
oh,
I
I'm
don't.
just
I
gonna...
don't do the dating to just date. That's weird.
He's the same.
Like, I'll take my time to assess you as a person from afar and up close. But yeah, I was set to, build a relationship. I don't know where it's taking me, but
That was the intention, yeah.
So I understood, like, okay, if she has a daughter, this is going to be a package deal, and I have to accept that. I get to accept that rather than have to.
Yeah,
So yeah, I just took it very serious. If that's your daughter, then this is gonna also be my daughter, and it's been like that since.
yeah. So you have to really be sure about a person, right?
Yeah.
So that you're not like,
Because I feel like
that's
it's,
a lot
it's
you're
not fair to
investing.
the child if
It's
you're like,
yeah.
we're
that
together,
part.
but that's your kid.
Yeah.
Like,
And then like also if you think you're really serious about someone and then like the child kills it for you or something, like you need to figure that out
Yeah.
prior to things getting really real, because
Exactly.
kids get hurt and it's
Yeah.
confusing for them. What about you, baby? Did you ever see yourself being with a single mom before me? You didn't date any single
I didn't.
moms or anything, right?
No, a couple times,
A
but
couple times.
it's, I don't know, like it's not a weird thing for me.
But I was like, by the way, I have a baby, so
So hey, look.
so let's just
No
call my
pressure.
Uber. Like I'm gonna go home. Like I'm just assuming that
I'm like, all right.
he's he was like, oh well.
I mean, that's where I come from. You kind of see it.
Yeah, he also comes from a blended family, so but I didn't know that at first. He's like, oh well, that's fine, that's beautiful. Like, oh, how old is he? And we got to talking, and it was good. You were never really weird about it at all. But yeah, no, I drew. Yeah, that struggle of like, man, I want you to like me. I don't want to do the most and make like you uncomfortable. It was kind of
still disciplined at the same time.
yeah, and then
That-
like, are you allowed
adding
to
that part in.
discipline?
Yeah, that's what I was like.
How
Oh man, so
far does
at
the line
the
go?
first little bit, I was a little bit more like,
He would never. And then after, when we were living together, then it was like, he'd be like, dude, go to your room. Not cool, go to your room, stuff like that. But as far as, anything more than that, it's usually me. He doesn't like.
That is a weird space to be in, though. I was just thinking of the dating time when you're hanging out with the kids and stuff, because you're like,
well, we were serious.
Can I tell him to go?
Is it okay? Learning values as well, because she's still our daughter still goes and sees her dad. 2 different households, 2 different sets of values,
raising her completely different.
Yeah, just their own way of doing it.
Yeah, so it's
that's
like
hard.
When you see habits from their home,
she comes
whether
back.
good or bad, it comes back, and it's like then I have my own set of values that I want you to have.
You have to reteach her every time when she comes back. You're like, all right,
it's
we're
a very
back
weird
home now.
Space. And then
especially she's getting older now too. So.
And this is just inner personal, I guess. It's like I hate to say it, but it's like a level of competition where it's like I don't want to be the bad dad either.
You know what? The mean one, the one that's hard.
I don't want to be like.
But then, does she know that? Because once you start catching on that your parent doesn't want to be the bad dad, then you're gonna start taking advantage, maybe being a little manipulative.
She gets some leeway with me.
Yeah.
It's
he spoiled her.
Where there's stuff where it's like, okay, you can't do this.
Yeah.
Cut it. And then there's moments where it's like, well, I'll spoil you here, or I'll let you do this. I'll allow this.
Yeah.
Some free passes. Give him some free passes.
He does the very I don't want to be the bad dad either, and Atice doesn't really see his dad that much. But I mean,
I try and
tell him the struggle, baby.
I don't know. It's a lot, but
he'll be like, we're at Dave & Buster's. I just took him to Dave & Buster's because, he just got out of school early.
Oh yeah, doing stuff like that. Buying him Nerf guns and stuff. Oh, you know what? The thing that was the most upsetting though was the Hot Wheels tracks. I used to love those as a kid, and I was trying to bond with them. I'm like, all right, cool, we're gonna set them up and everything. And he liked them and he played with them, but he kind of didn't want to play with them with me. So I was like, okay, that's cool. I'll let you get used to it.
He's like, please,
you go in there and play with them. And then he just started destroying them.
Cause he's so it's like, so it's like that. After all, I just bought you these.
I don't even want to buy them anymore.
I was like, baby, he can do with them.
I remember it was there was not a lot of batteries available because it was during COVID. I don't know. I went to the Walmart. I'm like, I couldn't find D batteries. I finally found the D batteries for the little thing that makes it go.
Yeah.
And I was like, here we go, man. Let's go. Let's do it. He's like, I don't really like it. And I'm like, okay.
You pictured it in your head of this is
we're
how we're gonna.
We're all sitting cross-legged, flicking the cars around and all that.
It's a montage with the '80s song in the background.
God.
Man,
that didn't happen. But hey, it's okay. We got other things that we like to do together, so it's just a matter of finding.
But I do feel that frustration sometimes where it's like, well, why do I even try, man?
Yeah.
I'm out here trying my best, trying to bond with you, and I'm like, kids suck sometimes, y'all. I'm sorry.
They do.
Sometimes they just they're selfish, or you'll give them everything all day, and then they'll still be ungrateful by the end, pouting because they didn't get something.
I want to go to so-and-so's house. I want to go to my mom's, my mom's house. I'm like, why don't you want to spend time with me?
Yeah, dude.
I'm the one that clothes you and feeds you.
Yeah. All the things I do for you. So props to you guys though, because bonus dads are still dads, and you guys are really valued. And when you care about your role when you care about your role as a bonus dad to the point where you do get anxiety and you do get stressed out and you do have that frustration, it just is because you care. And not everybody feels that way about other people's kids,
Especially when you're trying to teach them a life lesson that I'm trying to get you to
planting the
this.
seeds. Yeah,
You're heading in this direction, and I promise you, this is. I'm telling you the outcome.
I've been here already.
I'm telling you the outcome. So can you just listen and just not make that mistake? And kids make mistakes.
And then they have to learn it. They just have to learn how they're gonna learn it. And sometimes it's when they fall, and then they're like, "Oh, okay, so don't run." And you're like, "I already said don't run. You could have just avoided the whole falling part." But I guess you gotta fall to
I
learn.
guess.
Exactly.
That's hard too, huh?
Yeah, you gotta point them where to go and be there to pick them back up when they trip over
You're like,
that shit
okay,
you told them
but-
to watch out for.
Just watching them. Just want to take over all the time.
In my mind, I gotta remind myself, like, don't be petty.
What
Don't tell her I told you.
did I say? What did I say? And what if we
that's
learn?
hard. That's hard.
It's very
Like,
hard.
look, see, you fell.
What did I say? I told you, yeah. Okay, so what has been the most... Oh, well, I guess we kind of went over that, but I could ask it again. What's been the most challenging part of stepping up and raising a child from a previous relationship? Overall. Has it just been the bonding? Like, you know.
I would say just going back to just the values.
Yeah.
Just
With co-parenting and stuff.
It
Yeah.
literally feels like just like I'm trying to mold my child into like a successful human being.
And they're interfering.
Yeah, and then
Yes.
yes,
Gets undone.
that's the hardest part because it's like she's not home 7 days a week. She's home, 4 days a week, 3 days gone, or 5 days a week, 2 days gone.
Yeah.
So in that small amount of time or at
That's a
school,
lie. You'd
it's
be
like
surprised.
there's other inputs, dictating how she acts or
Her
Views
personality,
reacts.
her
How she
behavior.
views
Yeah.
herself,
Yes.
how her confidence, all of that.
Yeah.
It all takes
Yes.
a toll.
And it's like that. I would say that's the most challenging part because I'm her dad, but he's her dad. He's her dad.
Yeah.
So I'd say like that's been like my biggest
Just saying that
challenge.
in itself though is hard. It's like I'm his dad, but like he's his dad, you know?
Yeah.
Oh,
I felt
that's
what
vulnerable,
you said when
right?
you said like, oh, he called me dad. I was like, I've gotten that once.
Oh,
in,
wow.
10 years. So,
Shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
And is that hard for you? Does it make you sad, or have you
Yeah,
just
it
kind of
makes me
accepted
sad.
it?
It makes me sad all the time.
Yeah.
It
Like,
does.
Yes.
It does.
Oh.
Because it's like, if you know our daughter,
But
She
they're so
doesn't-
close. So
Yeah,
it's
but
like,
something small like that does make a
It's
difference.
that,
Yeah.
it's that little bit of
Like I'm in the family, like
because
I'm-
you don't want
I
to
get
ask
the-
for it. You kind of just want it.
You want it to be
Yeah.
organic.
Yeah.
You don't, you
Yeah.
know.
you want to make sure it's like coming from.
Because if it feels forced, it's like no, it's not.
That's not cool.
That's
Yeah,
not-
I had a very strong thing about that. I told him when we met, I was like, you can just call him Darian if you want.
when with her, she said she views him as her dad. Like she'll tell people that's my dad, or when we talk to people. That's my
Yeah.
dad. She said I guess because she was already calling him that. She's like, I don't know if I should just call him both dad or And I
Yeah.
was just like, do what you feel comfortable doing,
I know my mom when she had her stepdad, she started calling him Papio.
Okay.
So she would
Like
call her
your
dad
dad.
dad, and then she would call him like, "What's up, Papio?" And it was like her own cute little name for him,
Yeah.
and it was like their special thing.
Yeah.
So sometimes that works. But Atias will talk about Darian while he's in the room and be like,
Oh yeah, that's the other thing.
he goes like, "Oh yeah, like yesterday when me and my dad went to the park."
Oh.
But like Darian's right there next to him, and he's like, "You mean me?" Like, but it's just funny because the way he'll say it, like, "Me and my dad went to the park," as if there's other people in the room,
Yeah.
and it's just us. I'm like, you could just say me. We went to the park. So I think he's practicing the like,
Yeah.
Darian is my dad.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think it's also probably because like his dad hasn't really been in the picture as
And
much
that's
lately.
confusing because he knows who he is, but he
Mhm.
doesn't see him.
Because before there was like he would we had a couple of visits.
Yeah, we were kind of trying to cope,
Trying, yeah.
but he's a mess of a person. Because he's a mess of a person, he's just. It's not even worth it trying to like reach out because he never has the same phone number. He's always
That's
like,
probably
My phone got
What
shut
was the
off.
question? Something
It's
about
been hard.
the biggest struggle or something.
the biggest struggle about
That's my biggest struggle.
stepping
is
up and raising a child.
not
from your
getting
previous-
upset with him.
Yeah.
With the
With Matthias's dad
Yeah.
Because the capabilities are all there
Yeah.
to be there and to
More.
like do the
And
things
he-
you need to do to be a father, but
And
it's
he's
not
very-
happening. So it's like, you want to get a dog, motherfucker? Like, no, you got a boy.
Right.
You got to take care of.
No, he said that he had gotten a new job, and I was like, oh, so like maybe now you'll be able to like hang out with Matthias more. Maybe like You guys can hang out. I'll drop him off. He's like, well, I'm gonna get a dog first. And I just remember he said it in the car. We were giving him a ride home. We were giving him a ride home already as it was. And he was talking about.
We were giving him a ride
We
home?
were giving him a ride home.
Nah, you got
we picked him up. He was
Nah.
late when we picked him up. We waited for him for like 40 minutes, and Matthias was like, "Where's my dad?" And it was very, very awkward. So all of that stuff. And
I'm very
he's
proud
just,
of myself that day. I'll just say
he's
that.
always so angry. He's like, "It is not. We're not even asking much from you. Like you just have to care a little bit." But he's very into himself, and that's just the kind of person he is. Man. So that's
the struggle.
that's the hardest part for you.
Uh-huh.
But I'm also at this point where I'm like, I don't need nothing from you. Like,
Yeah, it has gotten to the point to where it's like, all right, if you're not gonna try, like, I will assume. I've already assumed that
assume the
position.
position.
But, like,
Period. Like, I got it. We got it.
mhm.
But we're not the kind of parents that are like, well, he's a better dad than you'll ever be, so you don't get to see him anymore. Like, I'm actively like, if he hits me up, I'm
They
like,
still
sure,
allow that, yeah.
let's make it happen because he needs to know his dad.
Yep.
But make no mistake, he's taking care of him.
Yeah.
And you were not.
Yeah.
So that's real. Thank you for sharing that with us too, because
Yeah, very real feeling.
Yeah.
and it's. I think even just thinking about it, he's like, just feeling. Did your perspective on parenting change once you had your own baby?
Absolutely. Like, everything became a threat. I used to be in cars, and it's like, you know, at one point, 125 down the road,
Oh,
just thinking nothing
Research
of it. Like, I got
listings
this.
and-
We're having fun. It's not gonna hurt anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like, bro, I have my kids in the car. Why are you speeding?
Okay.
Either that or now it's like, even if you're by yourself, like, what if some shit happens to me?
And I have my
You know?
kids.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Uh,
Yeah.
Can't be as reckless as we used to be.
Absolutely. That fear. Like, right, we're talking about putting our son Asher in his first school. And it's like, what if the kids are mean to him?
They will
What if the
be.
teacher isn't
But
paying attention?
and they won't all the time. That's what's hard. Is you can't control
That's
any
so
of that.
scary to me.
Yeah.
It's like he needs love.
Yeah.
He
He's delicate, you know.
Yes.
We know him. They don't know him
They
like
don't
that.
know.
I can definitely relate to that. What, baby?
I have something for you.
Oh, sweet. That is a pretty flower.
Oh, that's staying in. Huh?
This will not be edited out of the episode. Thank you, baby. It's very cute.
You're a good kid, man.
I don't know if that's gonna stick actually.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Hell yeah.
Oh, there you go. Oh, not too tight.
Too much.
You gotta strip the flowers. You're good. Hurt it.
Thank you. Yeah. So you feel like you just got more like aware of how dangerous everything is,
Oh,
and
yes.
just paranoid about
Yes.
stuff.
So when we initially had our son, we were in like a rougher neighborhood, and
Oh,
there was
yeah.
like bars on the window. And then I was when we first moved, I was
no
like, "Oh, this is
gates, so
ugly.
anybody
Like
can,
they
like,
have
walk
bars
out.
on the
Walk out.
window." Then like when he was born, I was like,
Bars on the
Bars
window.
on
Yeah. Bars on the window. Necessary component to a safe house. What about you, baby? Did your perspective change from like, because when I met you, like Matthias was still in a pull-up, so we were very much still kind of in that younger phase.
Yeah.
But as far as like watching me be pregnant, watching them cut him out of me, and then being a
That was
dad, like what changed for you? You know,
The little baby part was all. Now it feels like he's getting closer to what I'm
what you were
already
dealing
experienced with
yeah.
Matthias, but yeah, that first little, like when he was just so tiny and yeah,
Spitting up everywhere.
yeah. I'm just
Oh,
I'm like
defrosting
I feel like
my
I'm like- honestly, it's just the anxiety that like just worrying about him, you know.
Oh, yeah,
it
that
felt a little
definitely
bit
did.
different. Like I love Matthias, but like I didn't see him be born, and I think that little
it
thing
changes a lot.
and that hit a switch for me and Matthias's relationship as well. You know, after having and seeing Jabari, like kind of
It's real, right? Like,
it stepped up a little bit more after that point. I want to say as well. But yeah, it's a weird feeling.
it's like a switch. It's just
Mm-hmm.
and then isn't it like I always talk about this like don't fuck with my kids. it's this like very animalistic.
Yes.
And like I can't even explain. Like I hear about like school shootings and stuff, and like I can't. I get like I will sweat. I'm like I couldn't even imagine. I will like. I think I would literally just turn into just a blind rage if anybody tried to hurt my kids. Like,
full John Wick.
And full John Wick. Full John Wick. And
Instant terrorist.
see, mine would be like full Kill Bill, but either way. Uma Thurman. So yeah, it's definitely, your perspective definitely changes after you have kids.
Absolutely.
And the way you look at life, the way you look at yourself. I think for you, I don't know, baby, I watched you put a lot more pressure on like, what are you doing, and like, what direction is your life headed in and stuff, like after you had the kids, in a whole different way, and just like working hard for that promotion at work, and like really planning, like a lot more like, we're about to get in this house, like we need to save and some of that stuff. When we got the second car, because I was like, how are we going to do this? We just had the one car. Some of those things it was you just being like, okay, well, we about to have a baby, like boom, boom, boom. That he wasn't necessarily doing before, because it was like, whoa, shit just got real, you know. I'm a dad.
And the wedding in the middle of all
And the wedding in the middle of all of that. It was right in the middle, you guys. The baby wasn't even 1 yet, and we were like, wedding! It was money! It was really, really hard. Did you have an idea of the kind of dad you wanted to be before you had kids? Or are you kind of figuring it out now and like plotting and planning as you go?
I would say I'm figuring it out. I knew of just like maybe 2 things that I knew I wanted to just make sure I did. But I am literally just figuring it out.
Yeah.
Like, because I didn't have a dad. I didn't have a reference. So
Even after all these years too, you still feel like you're just working it out?
I'm still just working it out, because kids change. They're all different.
The challenge changes.
Our daughter, we've never had a 12-year-old before. We never had a 13-year-old before.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, well, once she's older, now I've never had a 13-year-old boy. Like, it's a very different
experience.
I just always knew in my mind, to make sure I did what my mom did. She wasn't perfect, but I just know that I just would tell my kids that I love them. They knew that I loved them, and that, you know, whatever decision that you make for your life, like whatever path you decide, like you better stick to it and be the best at it. So that's like two things that I wanted to just make sure I instill. Other than that, I'm just figuring it out.
What about you, baby? Did you? Oh gosh, I'm sure you had some idea of the kind of dad you wanted to be, right? Like before you met me. Has that changed at all, or like what's that look like for you? You know, because you feel very strongly about your role as a dad.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of adjusting. There's definitely values I'd like to instill, self-sufficiency and
in the
toughness
kids.
and stuff in the kids. Kind of stuff that my dad did, but you know, I'm still trying to figure out like, how did you do what you did for me, and is that going to work for my kids? Because how he raised me, like, could very well not work with these two, or it might just work with him, and it might not work with him.
Yeah, sometimes I'm like, some of that tough love.
Figuring
stuff
out that
work
part.
on all the kids.
Yeah. Because like I know for sure that stuff really taught me, and
it worked for you.
Worked for me, yeah.
This is his house, y'all. Like we just live in it.
He's like, oh, y'all doing a podcast?
Slam.
Right. You hear this?
Let's go back to see Miss Rachel. He got the socialize for a little bit, but
he's gonna get mad now.
Yeah.
He's gonna be like, how dare you put me back?
Not to steal the answer, but like, yeah, a lot of making it up as
making up as you go along.
A little bit of like, I kind of know what I want to do, but you know, you gotta be flexible.
Yeah.
We'll see if it works.
Hopefully.
Trial and error, right? And then you're like, oh, well, that did not work. We're going to try something different. Yeah. And then I'm sure it changes kid to kid, because Attias is already a different, like, Jabari will fight you. Like he don't really fight you physically. Like he just pushes my feet, and he's so strong. Like if he doesn't want his diaper change, he's gonna kick you off. I like almost flew across the room the other day. I was like, oh my god, he just kicked me in my chest. I'm like, can't breathe. And he's totally different from Matthias, who's like gentle and like sensitive and his feelings and just different. So some things I'm like, well, it's not gonna work for Matthias. Try it again with Jabari, we'll see. You know? They're different kids. And do you see that in your own kids where like they just have different temperaments and different sensitivities?
Literally, her and her brother are night and day.
Like opposites?
Yep.
That's hard so you gotta change your approach up, right? You can't just like address an issue of like defiance or something in one of them the same way you would for another one, right? Yeah. So a lot of going with the flow and just figuring it out step by step.
That's probably what everyone's doing, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of moms and dads are doing that. Yeah. But also now we have social media where people can go, this is so easy. I'm so good at this. Yeah. I'm vegan and all my kids wear the same color and
everything is beige.
Our house, everything is beige. We wear nude color palettes only. We don't consume salt or anything, you know, and it makes it hard for people who are scrolling. Even dads, I'm sure. I mean, you don't really scroll. He's not like a social media person anymore. But just any other dad who's scrolling and there's like these like buff guys who are like, yeah, like taking care of my kids, going to the gym, and I'm like working in this really like high paying job, and like we're all just rich.
That's a lane. I've never seen
if
that.
that's a lane, the dad lane, it's a lot of it's the Christian dad lane. The like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. The Christian together. Dad lane with like the big house and you see it out in the lifestyle and there's always a truck. There's always a truck and there's always a dog. I just think you see that a lot, and it's easy for any mom or dad to just like, if you get lost in it in the comparison game, you could be like, oh man, like, and you get that FOMO. You don't feel like you're doing a good job. So sometimes I'm like, we gotta get off the internet.
That is very real, like when you're like looking at that stuff on social media.
Yeah. People get paid to make their life look like it's like
literally they get paid for it, so that's what
they be working hard.
And then they sell you shit.
Yeah, and then they're like, aren't you unsatisfied? Buy this. Use my promo code. It's like, oh, okay.
What was that show that we were watching?
The Parent Test. Have you guys seen The Parent Test? Yes. Oh my gosh. I was going to do a podcast episode about it because first of all, shame. It was like a shame train station. Yeah. It ended up just being like all the parents who were like hard on their kids. Everybody was like, boo! And then everyone who was like, that's okay, you can jump off of the side of the house. Right? And they're like, beautiful parenting. And I'm just like, what? It's just making people feel bad about the way they raise their kids. Like, exactly. We're like sitting there like, am I me? Like, which one is
that's what
am I?
I was watching my daughter. We asked her, it was like, which one would you say? She was like, you're helicopter. And you're strict.
Helicopter,
like,
strict.
I'm okay with being a little bit of helicopter.
Anxious parent, definitely not. There was this one that was
Apache attack helicopter. We want to make sure they stay safe.
Oh, this question is for Ashley. Did you know what you wanted for marriage before you met David, or did he just kind of like land in your life prior?
I can say, because honestly, like my daughter's father's completely different person.
Okay, yeah.
My relationship in that time, you know, between that time frame, completely different. So it's like, I don't think I knew what I wanted, you know, and I'd say I kind of wanted somebody that had a lot of traits similar to my dad, because he's always like family first, and you know, my mom's never really had to work a day in her life.
Period.
So I want somebody. I wanted somebody that took care of family, and it's so crazy because the relationships that I was in, they were not that. They were not family oriented at all. At all. So it's like, you know, I think the minute he came back, I was like, yes. Like I'm not let go this time.
Yeah, you got it. You know when you snag a good dude, you know, like, he's mine. Everybody leave me alone.
You can't have
this one is mine now. He belongs to me. Thank you. And I knew that I wanted someone who was okay with the fact that I had a baby and was just nice to me. Yeah. Like literally, girl, I was like, just be nice, man. Just treat me with
Love me.
respect, bro. Like, that's it. I'm not asking. You don't have to look at any kind of way. You don't have to have a bunch of money. Like, I don't care about any of that. Like, just please don't be a piece of shit. And doing pretty good. Pretty good. But at first I was like, you're a liar. I don't believe you. Why are you being so nice to me? He's like, because I was raised to be nice to women. Like, I don't know what to tell
Right?
you.
Like, why are you being so nice? I don't get
What
it.
are you, like, what are you up to? I think we both have to remember to pump each other up sometimes because it gets so like, okay, did you pick him up? What did the teacher say about the thing? Did we clear the absence? So then, all of that. So then sometimes I have to be like, hey, babe, thanks for getting groceries.
Right.
You're
I
killing it.
appreciate you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Killing it with the dad stuff this week, dude.
Just last
Nailed
night,
it.
actually, she was making dinner and she was super fussy. I was like, please come get your daughter. Like, come get your daughter.
I need a minute.
So she came and got her, and I ended up making dinner. So it's like, you know.
Even that, yeah. Like, shit.
No one
switch
want to
shifts.
call an audible real quick.
Yeah. What's something you really admire about your husband and the way he raises the kids right now?
What I would say, probably his dedication. Like, I know that sounds crazy because he's a dad, but like, not everyone is dedicated to their roles. Like,
Yeah.
they say they're a father, you know, and like I said, we co-parent, so we have a definition of a father and then a babysitter. And I say he is
Yes.
a father. Like, he's very active. If I'm, lagging on stuff, I forget to brush Asher's teeth, he's on it. He's like, come on, let's go brush your teeth. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. He makes sure he did his reading today. I'd say that's probably, he's on it.
Smart. He's like, oh, stop.
on it. So
Keep going.
You're doing good. Good job, David. I think I just really, I love, baby, how you care a lot about making things easier for me because I'm coming home and I can't do things once I'm home. So just little things like when you can do it and you have the means, like you'll like make dinner and be like, oh, I already made dinner and we have leftovers, so now you can eat for the next 2 days. And you can just come home and heat something up. Or you already have like laundry going. Or he's like, oh, I did the grocery shopping and I got new stuff for the baby, and it's stuff that I'm like, oh, you're right, we did need that, but I didn't think about that, and we would have been real screwed.
Girl,
You know what I mean?
good guy.
So I'm like, oh, like,
You're welcome.
It's all part of the job.
And so, yeah, those things, it's easy, again, in the day-to-day and with how stressful things get to, like, forget to give you your props, but, like, you really do help me a lot. And not all daddies do that.
Yeah.
Good morning, Princessa. Hi.
Hey.
It's the star of the show.
Hey.
So cute. Have you found any like dad hacks that help?
Yes. Just one.
Just one?
When she goes away, and of course, she's used to her. Use her shirt that she's already worn to like wrap her up to be like, okay, that
Look,
still
mommy's
here.
holding you.
That's so
That's
smart.
so smart. That we should have.
I would just be like, baby, leave your sweater.
Literally, like
Take your shirt off.
Yeah. Wow, that's a great dad hack.
She don't like that right now. Like,
Yeah. She don't like dad right now.
That's a good idea.
That's a good idea.
I'm gonna put that one in my pocket just in case we have another
Just in
one.
case we have another one, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys want another one? I know she's still so young. You're probably like, please don't say those words to me. But
I'm done.
you're done. Respectfully.
I
Hell
say
no.
if we have, because he's more finances. Like, if we were to become rich in the next 2-3 years, yes.
Absolutely.
We want them all to be.
Have all the kids.
We have as many babies as you want. Oh,
I
God.
think of the later, like, okay, prom.
Uh-huh.
Okay, you want
Cars.
a car by the time you
College.
leave high school. Phone bill.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, kids want all these electronics. Christmas.
But see,
Personal
James got
styles.
this, though.
Like, like, oh, this is the kind of clothes I like to
Daddy,
wear.
can I get a Neuralink? Like, no. They ain't putting that shit in your head. Could you imagine what's it gonna be like when they get older too? Oh my gosh.
Right.
Oh, God.
Don't
We
say
get an
that.
iPhone 30.
An iPhone 46.
I'll probably just be in the next
11
5 years.
OP.
So.
AI. Shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a scary topic.
That's-
right now.
yeah.
AI is creepy, bro.
About to be iRobot.
Just with a little prompt.
My logic is undeniable. My logic is undeniable. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. This was so fun. I hope you enjoyed it. It's ready? You have to do it too, babe. Okay, ready? Thank you for listening to my podcast, Mo Mommies, Mo Problems. See you later. Bye.